The Central Bank of Nigeria has assured Nigerians of sufficient stock of currency notes at its disposal and dispelled rumors of scarcity of cash in banks and ATMs across the country. The Apex Bank disclosed these via a statement on its website and signed by the Director of Corporate Communication, Isa Abdulmomin. The bank explained that the perceived scarcity was a result of panic withdrawal from customers and high volume withdrawal from its branches by other banks. The CBN further assured Nigerians it has sufficient stock of currency notes to facilitate business activities across the country and that the branches are working to ensure easy operation to meet demands of their various states. It also encouraged Nigerians to avoid panic withdrawal and embrace alternative payment methods that do not require cash. And to discuss this further, I'm being joined on the news by Samuel Oyekanmi, Senior Researcher Analyst, Nairametrics. Good morning, Mr. Oyekanmi.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you join me. Now, how do you interpret the impact of panic withdrawal on the perceived scarcity of cash in banks and ATMs?
I think first, it's fair to understand that Nigerians are only just worried about the fact that the pronouncement earlier in the year was that the old currencies would be phased out by the end of the year. And I think, well, with just less than 2 months to the end of the year, it's just fair to understand that Nigerians might feel that fear. But then again, when you understand the tone of this new administration, the new CBN, it's more or less trying to undo some of the things that the previous CBN administration had done. And I reckon that that would not be happening. Of course, we wouldn't be facing it out because when you look at most of the currencies out there, you still see a lot of old notes and you don't see as much new notes. But then again, we need to also move away from the line of this cash denominated or dominated entry. And I think that's what is happening, because when you go out there again, you see many businesses still more or less insist that they want to receive cash rather than transfers and whatnot. You probably would not blame them. I think it's a matter of the mindset. We need to grow beyond that, because we understand some of the implications that cash transactions can also bring in terms of security and whatnot. We need to move away from that mindset. And then again, there's cash. I believe there's cash in the system. There are still old notes. I tend to go to use the ATM sometimes, and I see means new notes means coming out from the ATM machine. So it just tells you that somehow the CBN is trying to also replace some of those old notes.
I hear you, Samuel. Yes, I hear you, Samuel. When you say there is cash, you've been to the ATMs and you say there is cash, but what measures can the CBN take to manage panic withdrawals and ensure a steady supply of cash?
I think one of them we're saying is by informing the people. You said it clearly yourself. They released a memo on their website and the social media handles, educating people that there is actual cash. Because then again, when you look at the data from the CBN, as of September, we have about 2.7 trillion naira as currency in circulation, and it's 5% of this cash is actually outside the bank. It means in the hands of people. CBN just need to be able to enlighten people and educate people that there is cash. There's really no need for panicking. And then again, understand that the fact that FX, there's been a lot of FX volatility. There's a tendency that some Nigerians will be trying to withdraw their cash in Naira and trying to convert them in dollars just because they are betting against the Naira depreciating against the USD. So the CBN also has to cover these other bottlenecks. Again, try as much as possible to disincentivize the use of cash by making sure that other alternative forms of payment are also reliable. The infrastructure that is readily capable, sufficient for such transactions are put in place by banks and other banking agents. I think with that, you have encouraged many people to desist from the panic withdrawal use of cash and then transition into other forms of payment.
Okay, what alternative payment methods do you recommend, for instance, for individuals and businesses to reduce reliance on cash transactions?
I think there are quite a number of them out there. Mobile transactions, mobile payment platforms, e-banking, e-wallets, and whatnot. So there are quite a number of them. The problem has always been that do we have the sufficient infrastructure to facilitate these payments? And I think, at least in the last 3 months, there's been a fair amount of, will I call it, stability in the services by banks. Of course, we suffered a lot earlier in the year, but I think it is improving, and the banks really need to do more. But of course, there are several e-payment platforms that we can always leverage on. Mobile banking. These days, we now have a whole lot of agency banking, POS banking transactions that a lot of Nigerians now use. Especially before now, the fear would be, if you transfer, how fast can you get alert, or how fast would the transaction be effected? But these days, there are some of those banking facilities that more or less almost instantaneously you get credited or debited, as the case may be.
And that's the most we can take on the news. Thank you so much for your expertise. Samuel Oyekanmi, Senior Research Analyst with Nairametrics. Thank you so much.